The purpose of this video is to determine how to most effectively answer an integer question with proof and all supporting documentation. The first step is obviously to determine what we need to find for the question and what's important. In this question, beginning with $1,125 in a mutual fund is important. We're given the monthly increases or decreases, and those monthly increases and decreases are down here at the bottom. This is the important information that I need. What I'm trying to determine is if this was a good investment for Gurmanpreet. In order to do this, I need to figure out, over the course of the 6 months shown, did the value of the money that Gurmanpreet invested increase or decrease? To do that, I'm going to add and subtract some integers. I'm going to write down the beginning value of $1,125, and then I'm going to look at the integers or the increases and decreases throughout the different months. So in January, we went down by 150. Now I'm looking for the total value of this investment, and therefore I'm going to put this in brackets in order to keep the integers straight. And what we're looking for is the sum of all of these values. So I'm going to add a decrease of 150. I'm going to add a decrease of 55 from February. I'm going to add an increase of $137 in March. I'm going to add an increase of $91 in April. I'm going to add a decrease of $2 and add an increase of $8. Many people will choose to leave out these addition signs, and the answer that you'll get will be identical. This just keeps it a little bit more straightforward for those of us who are starting to try and understand the integers. There are many ways to move from this point. We can add them one at a time and have a running total. That certainly will help if you have to back check your work. So I'm going to walk through it that way. So $1,125 minus $150 would be $975. If I then subtract another $55, I'm going to be at $920. From there, I'm going to add $137, and we'll be sitting at $1,057. If I then add $91, we'll be sitting at $1,148. If I then subtract $2, we'll be sitting at $1,146. And finally, if I add $8, I should end at $1,154. So currently, I think the value at the end will be $1,154. I need to double check my work. This was my solve. I'm now going to double check my work. One way to double check my work is to take the overall increases and decreases and put those together. So we went down by 150, we went down by 55, we went down by 2, we went up by 137, we went up by 91, and we went up by 8. I've chosen to separate the decreases and the increases. You could put them all together. So overall, We went down by $202. Sorry, $207. We went up by $236. If I compare those two, 236 minus 207, that means that we increased by $29. If I go back to my initial value of $1,125 and I add $29, I will get $1,154, which is the same answer I got solving it the other way. This tells me that my answer is correct. Lastly, I want to write out a formal answer. Gurmanpreet had a good investment because the value increased by $29 for a total value of $1,154. Now, some of what I have said out loud should have been included in my actual answer on paper. For example, I walked through the important information and I explained using words how I planned to solve the problem. If you were writing this out, you would want to write out exactly what you're doing and explain in 1 or 2 sentences before you do the math you see here, why you're doing the math and what the math is. In essence, you would write down what I have said out loud. I hope this helps you to get the best possible mark when we do our second integer question tomorrow morning.